God. I'm just fascinated with God. I realize that we are able to find God and connect it. We only find God through our own experience. Did you know that? Nobody can teach, nobody has God. We can inspire you to start on the path and make your path, but you will find it by yourself. I cannot prove God to you, no, to nobody, and nobody will ever. You can prove only God to yourself.
Welcome back to A Journey Through Aesthetic Realms on Supreme Master Television. In today's show, we are featuring Canadian spiritual artist Niska, who is known as the Painter of the Soul. To cultivate his connection with God, Niska starts his days with prayer and meditation. Then, with fresh inspiration, he delves right into art. He once said in an interview, "It's my life. I meditate and paint, eat and sleep."
All my life, the purpose of meditation is to contact God, your inner God. Contact this infinite nothingness. You know, we think that God is everything, but just as partial. God is everywhere. But as I painted, I did not realize I was actually meditating. So, and as I did it full time, I was not thank God, a school teacher or things like that to teach art. I love art teachers. I'm just saying I was blessed, you know, to be able to paint and paint. So suddenly I started seeing those lights coming up in my life, like the monks in Tibet or some other places that meditate 4 to 8 hours every day. After a few years, they start seeing those lights. They actually see them. So here, as I paint them, and because if I didn't see them, I couldn't paint them. But it took me many, many years to see them. But then also that's the purpose of meditation, contacting with God. And then you grow. I found out that God is very polite. He's a good friend, but he's very polite. And I think some expert could confirm to you that the average brain is functioning between 200 to 500 words a minute. If your emotions are there, it goes fast, fast, fast. So God is quite polite. So what you want to do with meditation is to lower the scrambling of thoughts fighting all over. And when you get to about 100 words a minute, God tries to squeeze a word in, you know. So he's so polite that he will not interrupt you. So if you don't shut up, you'll never hear about him.
The paintings of light created after meditation bear the power of inner God connection, touch people's souls, and benefit even their physical lives. Niska's wife, Elena, shares with us her own experience.
Can you tell us about that?
When I was doing my master's thesis, and I had one of his paintings above my computer, and he said to me, "Why don't you let yourself go into the light?" He says, "so then you could be inspired and write it faster and it will go easier for you." And I said, "Listen, it's for McGill and I need to do an analysis, political and economical and historical. How is the light going to help me?" Because I was just starting my spiritual growth. I had ideas about it as a kid, but we never learned about it in school. 3 a.m, and there I was with that painting, and I suddenly found myself having this inner dialogue with this painting. And it was helping me connect with my inner light and my inner guide, which I slowly discovered more and more over time. And what happened in the end was, what normally would have taken me probably a year, I was working at the time, full-time. I did it in 3 months, weekends and evenings. I was so inspired by the painting, the words just typed out of my fingers, and I started to discover the power of the light. If I hadn't lived it, I would have never known it. And after that, when I handed it in, I wrote a lot of things in that thesis that I might normally not have written. And I said, I don't know if they're going to like it. They might fail me, because I was quite audacious in what I had to say. I was quite forthright. I tried to say it diplomatically, but I still said certain things that the paintings encouraged me to say. They said, go for it, go for it. The light in the painting said, go for it. But after that, when I got back my results in the mail, I opened it up, and they wrote that the joy of a teacher is when the child surpasses the master. And I start to cry, and I realized, I didn't say I'm so bright, but I said the light, when you connect with your inner voice and you allow yourself to be inspired, you can reach heights and a sense of boundlessness that you don't know really exists before. So that was a life-changing moment for me when I realized I wanted to spend more time understanding what that was all about, and the power of that really transforms your life and brings you to places where you don't think ever existed.
The life-changing experience of Elena is not an isolated incident. Through contemplating on God's light, many people have found the source of lasting happiness. In Niska's words, with God, you are never alone.
One of our big suffering in the humanity presently is loneliness. People live in huge towers and couples can't keep their parents home, so the little ones are often alone and the older ones are very alone. We feel alone because we have the illusion, I think, of being disconnected from God. If we knew we are connected to God, how can you feel alone? You know, I know He's there, He's helping me all the time. So that's why I made this beautiful painting with God. We are never alone.
We sincerely thank Niska and Elena for sharing with us the essential message of light and God. We will continue with part 2 next week here on Supreme Master Television. For more about Niska's paintings, please visit www.niska.org. Radiant viewers, thank you for your presence on today's episode of A Journey Through Aesthetic Realms. Up next on Supreme Master Television is Vegetarianism, the Noble Way of Living, after noteworthy news. May divine light guide us all toward a virtuous, loving, and happy path in life.
For more details, please visit www.suprememastertv.com/AJAR.